Hello. This is Diogo, my sous chef. We are going to talk and cook at the same time. And later you're going to taste what we are going to do here. And we are going to talk about this root, manioc, which is the most important food of Brazil. This root, 12 years ago, changed completely my life as a professional, as a chef, but also as a human being. I was invited to a gastronomic event at the northeast of Brazil, Pernambuco state, which is a poor state. And in that event, they asked us, chefs from Rio and São Paulo, to make food with the regional ingredients. That's always what they do. And always upset me because they think that because we are from the big towns, we know more than the people from local places. But anyway, there I went, and I start to look for which recipe I would do. So they gave us a list of all the regional ingredients. And I didn't know almost half of the list. And I started asking them, what's puba? They said, that's from manioc. What's carimã? That's also from manioc. What about massa? That's another thing from manioc. And I said, everything here comes from manioc. How come I didn't know that? How come I was already a 20-year professional chef and I didn't know those things? So I went to the kitchen of the hotel. I was supposed to make the dish, and I kept working with that things, but I really didn't go through. So I was a bit upset. The next day, I went for breakfast, and I decided to get up really early. And I went to the breakfast, and I asked for the tapioca crepe. Tapioca is a subproduct of manioc. And tapioca crepe is one of the wonders of Northeastern cuisine. At that time, you could only eat tapioca crepe at that part of Brazil. And when the tapioca crepe came to me, to my dish, and I tasted it, it was wonderful. It was crispy on the outside, creamy with cheese and spices and herbs from the inside. And I said, this person knows how to cook. So I looked at the restaurant, and I saw there in the dark corner, there was this humble cook, local cook, that was doing the tapioca crepes. And I said, maybe this woman can help me to find my recipe. So I went there, and I asked her, what's this that you're using to make the tapioca crepe? And she said, I said, which flour are you using? She said, this is not a flour. This is starch, tapioca starch, manioc starch. And I said, but how do you get that? Where does it come from? And she said, that is in the manioc house, where they do all the subproducts of manioc. Don't you know that? She was really surprised that I, professional chef, didn't know that. And then I said, no. She said, but have you never been to a manioc house? And I said, what is a manioc house? So she looked at me really suspicious, and she said, you are the professional guys. You should visit a manioc house. And I get out of there. I made my dish with tapioca, and it worked all right. And I came back to Rio, but I was really, really stunned by that thing. I was really thinking, how come I didn't know about manioc house? How come? This is such an important thing for Brazil. Everyone eats manioc all the time in Brazil, but it's something like considered a poor people's food. So I started researching manioc. And I went to the internet, and I got books, and I asked people, and every time I learned something new, it got bigger and bigger. There was manioc all over the place. Manioc was originated from Brazil at the Amazon. Manioc had more than 1,800 varieties, many, many subproducts, some that went to the industry even, and I didn't know all that. So because of that, I got some recipes also. I started learning the special recipes about manioc flour. This one here that Diogo is making today is very, very special manioc flour from the Amazon, and all sorts of beans and spices that you're going to eat later. So because of that, I started to be known as the manioc chef, manioc ambassador, manioc anything. So I got another invitation to make this manioc class at a gastronomic university in US, in Dallas, Texas. So someone told me, you better make a small film to show what manioc is, because there people don't know about manioc. So with the help of some friends, we made this documentary about processing manioc. And people told me the best way to do that is at the Amazon, because there the manioc houses are still original, with all the tools, everything really handmade. So there I went, and we made this film. For 3 days we were there shooting. And for the first time in my life as a chef, I met a farmer. I got closer to a farmer, and we started exchanging ideas about how manioc is planted, how it is processed. And I was really so fascinated by that. It was 3 days of great, great work. I was really feeling really tired by the end of the 3rd day of shooting. So I sat at the chair, and I slept. I was tired, and I slept for a couple of minutes. What I didn't know is that Mr. Benet, this manioc farmer that called himself the manioc farmer professor, because he said he was one of the best, he was preparing a surprise for me. So when I slept, that's what he did that I missed. Can we see the film now?
Aqui a folha fina. Não, dá pra amarrando aí. Daqui ainda tá pronto aí.
So this is what he did. This is a way of packing manioc flour, the ancient way, the indigenous way, where they use all the sustainable leaves and fibers. The manioc flour here stays unstale for 1 year, and he did that just to show me how the ancient people did. And he said, they don't do this anymore. And I asked, why? Why not? This is a beautiful thing. This is an amazing thing. And he said, no, because nowadays people like plastic. So they prefer to have plastic bags. And I was completely shocked. I said, we must do something about that. And I asked him, how many people know how to do that? Oh, not many people. Like, people do this just for fun, just to remember old times. So I came back to Rio, and I was, again, obsessed. Now, not only about the strength of manioc, but also about how can we, chefs, help the farmers to maintain their culture. What could we do? What could we help? Which kind of thing could we do? Then, at that time, some other chefs came along, and they asked me, we like what you're doing, can we help? Can we make a group? And I said, okay, let's make a group. So I made this brand, and I called it Eco Chefs. Don't mistake by the Ego Chefs, which is a much larger group. So the Eco Chefs got together with lots of ideas, and we create this non-profit organization called Instituto Maniva. Maniva is the stem of manioc. It's the way it is planted, how it grows. So we start doing all sorts of promotion with manioc flour, and we got this product to be served in our restaurants, in our gastronomic fairs, and all over. So, because of the film, we got, now he's finishing here. Are you finishing? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so we have a little pepper. And now what happened is that we have this big project to try to help the guys to sell that thing, but we don't have the money for that. So we start looking for the money, and a bank made this loan, made this support us for this program. So I went back to Mr. Benet's place, and for 3 years we were there making a program that he was the manioc flour professor. He started teaching in 21 communities around his town how to make this. And surprise, he found many more people that knew how to do it. The granddads, the great-granddads, that they didn't do it anymore. So with that help, today, 10 more manioc flours professors do this. And we promote it to restaurants in Rio, São Paulo, Belém, Amazon. So now they had the increase of 5 times what they used to earn. And this became like a trend. It's like a new trend. And it was really, really something that was magical. I could never imagine that by just doing this move, just approaching ourselves as chefs with the farmers, we could change a social reality. That for me was a new thing. I was used to make food at my restaurant, not to change communities. So the last voyage I made, the last trip I made to the Amazon, when I got there, I was feeling a little bit insecure because I said, did this really happen? Is that going to work? And when I got into the town, I got the plane a long way, and then when I got into the town, they took me with the van to the place where the manioc house was. And when I got into the manioc house, I've been there many times. I've been seeing people doing that, weaving the basket many times. When I got into the manioc house, I saw something that really struck my mind and told me, yes, it worked. And that's what I saw. Those 2 kids, they were playing with it. So for me, when I saw that worked. The young people want to know how to do it. They want to do that ancient culture that was being vanished. So the thing is, we cooks have today a great, great power. Everyone knows that. Television shows, everywhere. But we have a greater power to change farmers' lives. And that's what we really believe that we could do, should do. Small farming is an endangered activity all over the world. There is no succession. There is the next generation. And because we can choose what we eat, if we do the right thing, all of us can change this reality, eating products from small farmers and looking for our treasures. Everyone here may have a treasure at home that's being endangered and that can vanish. So look for your treasures. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. And maybe some people can sample some of the delicious dish here. What's the name of the dish?
This is feijão tropeiro. Is a manioc, because the tropeiros were the guys that went through the country, and they needed to get some easy food. So always the base of carbohydrate of manioc flour, and some beans and some vegetables. This is a vegetarian version of it.
So we're going to try and sneak some of this outside in the break,
Yes.
so that people get to taste it. Teresa, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Good job. I recommend. Okay, we have a fearless...